Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Wednesday, December the 5th. This will be our chart lesson for today. It was a really interesting day. I believe what we did was we kind of opened up. As you can see, the overnight price, all the prices were within the range from yesterday. And you can see this was the high from yesterday. This was the low. So we kind of were still range bound, and then we headed down, but we broke on through and went lower. So really, we spent almost the entire trading morning in this down sloping range, which looked like it was going to accelerate as we overshot here. But then we got way overdone here. We reversed, and you can see that it was all uphill after that till we finally got a trend line break right here. Then one leg up, two legs up to an basically made a double top, and then we sold off. And it really just wasn't a whole lot happening after. Um, this got really choppy. So after about lunchtime, my time, a little after 11 o'clock, it just really wasn't much happening. We just got stuck in this about a 3-point range here. So, but that's what I saw today. We'll back out now and talk about the trades. There were some really good trades, and I mean, you really should have made most of your money before we ever reversed here. And if you were able to catch this reversal, it wasn't easy to catch unless you really bought these oversold lows down here. So, but let's back out and we'll talk about the trades and we'll go from there. Let me back out here where we can see it a little bit better. But you can see if you came in and you drew your trend line off those first few swings there, and you could have even got them off the lows here and drug it up either way. For some reason I'm having some problems with my mouse here. Why this thing's dragging. Okay, had to. Okay, sorry, I had a, probably felt like you probably didn't even know I was gone, but I had an interruption there. I had to step away a minute. So, yeah, it was pretty straightforward to find this trend channel right here. This is a pretty good downtrend. No reason to be buying in here, even though there's some longs coming off the lows. Just no reason to be buying because look what happens down here. You try to buy this or you try to buy this, and next thing you know, and this one I meant to have this one in green. Let's go ahead and change it before we even get there because that's a very aggressive trade. But let me just go back and we'll start up here with trade number one. And you got a double top up here. You could have gone short right here, but this is not a very good setup. That's pretty bullish up there. So you got a first entry short, then a second entry short. And this is a, long stem, close on it's very low, go short right there. And it did back up again. So if you waited and went short here, that was okay. There was still, actually I meant to have this covered as two trades right here. So the better entry was right here, but you would have to ride this pullback out. But you could have gone short again right here because now it's a breakout pullback short. But then you got all the overlap again, but it broke out the top first. And then you see it did snap back before it continued on lower. I did not like this setup because you had these matching lows across here, and it looks kind of like a breakout pullback short. It would have worked if you took this one. I had mixed emotions about it. I was already in from up here, and I didn't see any need to add on right here. I thought it was too risky because there's too much stem on the low side here. It would have worked out, but you can see it came back really quickly, and then it snapped back again. And so I didn't mark that one, but you had two entries here, and if you entered here, you had runners still going. If you entered on this one, they came back and got your runners real quickly. Again, you don't want to enter here, even though we just came off the low side and now off the top. You go short right here, and you see what happens. It snaps back, and it runs your stops, and then it turns down. But I really like this trade. You had your double top here, and I even thought about going short with a limit order here, but I decided not to. I said we better wait on the right bar. Then all of a sudden it would have worked perfectly, but you still get a very bearish bar, you go short right below that, it's off to the races down. And this is where you really made all your big money because any runners were safe on either one of these entries. And what you had right here, we'll move this up for now, you would have had these this kind of support area right here, and this is a breakout pullback short. It's nice bearish bar to go short below right there. You haven't gotten down here to your trend line yet. You've got one big leg. You're probably going to get at least another, and you could have ridden this thing all the way to the lows. Definitely right here, I'll be honest with you, I exited my shorts right here, all of them, because we already had the overshoot, and I figured we would rally from there. I did not go long there because we never got a good setup. And then we shot one more leg down here, and now we're way overdone. We never got back to the EMA really right here. We kind of tested the trend line, and we're way away. You got a nice bullish reversal bar. Got another interruption here. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. It's been a lot of interruptions today. But this was I think we were down to this trade right here. Hopefully you understand. This is a breakout pullback short. This was a great setup off the trend line. We did get a trend line break here. Not much of one, but that's probably enough. But the main thing is we had a big overshoot. And a lot of times when you get an overshoot, you won't get a retest. But I'm thinking this probably was the trend line break right here. That's the first close, and that's a pretty bullish close out there that trapped a lot of people. And that's why this turned down so strongly, because I guarantee you a lot of people got trapped above that big bullish bar right there. And you always get people that go long, you know, especially coming off these lows right here. So I believe that's where the lows were right there. So anyway, not a good long here because we haven't come down to the trend line. We hadn't, or the trend channel line. Then again, too much overlap. And this one was really iffy. There's a lot of overlap. I tried to get long with a limit order there, couldn't get filled, and I was really hesitant to go long right here. So I didn't take this trade. I don't know if any of you took it, but if you saw it and you took it, you know, after 3 legs down, it's 3 pushes to a new low. They're pretty much 3 measured moves down. We're way overdone here. It's a really aggressive trade, but it was probably worth taking if you took it. So, but I was busy thinking about exiting my shorts and got out right here. And I just didn't have a really strong feeling about this one because the bars were overlapping. If this one would have broke higher or closed, you know, on its high way up here, I probably would have taken that one. Looking back, I wish I would have taken it, but I just didn't muster up the courage. I ended up going long on this reversal bar right here. This kind of got us back inside the trend channel. And I almost held off on this one too because we never broke above it. We ended up with this ugly bar, but it still got stem. And so I went ahead and took this trade thinking that we're probably going to at least test this breakout. Notice that we haven't tested the breakout area from right here yet. Normally you'll come back and test that real quickly. So I figured we were at least heading back to there, back to the top of the trend channel, but I figured we'd probably even come all the way back to here. That's exactly what happened. So I went long right here and rode this up to here. I almost exited up here, but I talked myself into saying, hey, just, you know, we had this little break up here. We had an overshoot. We may go higher. And that's another reason not to enter short right here because of all this overlap. Even though that's a nice reversal bar, I guarantee you a lot of people got trapped right there because they either didn't have the channel or they weren't paying attention. They didn't consider this a break. They didn't notice the overshoot. There's a lot of reasons here, but notice that we're well above the EMA, and we've already pulled back and tested there. It held. We pulled back. And when this closes a doji, I don't see a long here, but I definitely didn't see it being worth going short. It just wasn't worth risking a short right there because there was too big a chance you might get a breakout pullback long, and you did. And I don't like the long setup. And looking back, I sure wish I'd have taken it, but I didn't. And so, but luckily I still had my runners going from right here. And so I was able to get long right there, and I ended up exiting them right here, so I didn't get much more anyway. but it worked out, and you got another chance to enter right here. Um, and this one was, kind of questionable too, because we didn't get back to the trend line. We didn't get back to the EMA, but notice that we hadn't got up to the upper trend channel. You could have looked at it and says, well, yeah, maybe we did. Maybe we got an overshoot, but we're just staying up there way too long. You got to be thinking that's awfully narrow. So this is probably more like it. And there was enough room really to almost scalp out before you get back up here. So this was worth taking. You got a double bottom. You got the one tick. It allows you to get in way down here at the lows. It was worth taking, especially after a big move like that. And off it went. And any runners would have been safe here. Here's another chance to get in right here, right at the trend line. Now you got your first pullback to the trend line, your first really pullback to the EMA since way back here. So a good chance to get in and go long right here. You really needed to wait on this bar. If you might have gone long right here because it broke lower and then turned up. So you could have gone long on the break above this bar right here. But it was better to wait for a bullish bar and go right there. And because then you got a proven, they've proven that they're trying to take it higher. It's a second entry. On top of that, it's a failed break lower. And, you see it was really choppy all the way up. This market was overdone to the upside, really. I mean, that's a nice rally right there. And there just weren't a lot of chances to get in. And you might have even thought about a short right here. I wouldn't dare go short here as strong as this thing has been, because you're probably going to get another push up. And I really thought we would probably get more push up than that, but we didn't. And then we finally got our trend line break right here. One leg up, pull back, two-legged correction, then another leg up. Just measure those. There's leg one. Then you got your little two-legged correction, then leg two, and that's a perfect measured move. And then we sold off. And I mean, we pretty much spent all afternoon in this 3-point range. There was another chance to get long right here. Again, you got your double bottoms across here. You got that one tick failure reversal on the second entry almost, because you got this little turn down right here. So this one was actually worth, I actually went long above this bar right here because of the trap, but you could have waited till here, and it did pull back. No big runners on this one, but you got another chance to go long right here. And again, you got a new high after this high, and after that high. So first entry long, pull back, second entry long. You got a nice bullish bar right there. I went long right there as well. Again, nothing good but a scalp. And you had to be thinking maybe this was one leg up, and this could be the next one. So, and when it stalled up here at these highs, you got to exit. And so I just scalped out in full on my runners right here. Didn't get but a few extra ticks maybe, and that was it. And so then it sold off, and there's a short right here. I didn't take this. It was real late in the day, but it's a double top after a break of a trend line and two legs to a new high. Even if you didn't see that, there was the trading range. You can see that right there. So it's a broader double top. A lot of reasons to think short. Any runners would have been safe, and you could have ridden that all the way into the close too. I didn't take that trade. Looking back at it, though, it was a really good trade. So it set up pretty well. And so that's what I saw for today. And this is an odd day, because it really just could have been looked as a trading range day with a failed break out the low side and then a failed break out the high side. But really, these trends are too strong for that. So I think we had this downtrend, and we had an overshoot, and then we just had a reversal. And again, we're beating the bushes around here, around this 1400 area, and you've heard me say that before. It's kind of, those century marks are strong psychological areas, and what you'll notice is that you'll test both sides. We've been testing the upper side across here for a while now. And then once you get under it, you might test the underside of it for a while. So they're just important psychological areas where this kind of thing will happen, and it may take a little while to work through there before we go lower, or we may find support here and start trading higher. So just go with the trend, whatever the trend's taking you. Make sure you find these trend lines, because they're the key to all of it. And, these trend lines, this one was a little harder to find because, if you drew it off, you might have thought these were the first two swings and you drew it right there. But you notice we're still working higher, and you could have used that probably. But you had a break here and you had a break here, and it just kept going higher and higher. And, generally your first couple of swings are going to be the ones that are near, that come off of the EMA. And this is the first one where we got above it. So that's why I like that one. And usually you find the first couple of bars, just like I did right there, where the closes are. It could have been like that right there. That would have worked just as well. But I still believe it was right off those first couple of bars like that right there, because that fits the upside. You can see that right there. But let me show you this. Even if you did run it right across there, and I'll be honest with you, that's how I got this line. I started right here and drew it off those highs, and then I drug it down, and that fit perfectly. So that's how I got started. But when we overshot that and kept going and kept going, then I'm thinking something's not right. And you drag this up there, and then you see, hey, we're probably heading, until we touch this line, we're probably going to keep going higher. And you see what happened as soon as we hit it and overshot it just a tad, it reversed. But even if you didn't see that, you had these highs up here. And you can see that we just broke, even if you went to the very high, we closed right there. We broke above, nothing but stem, and then turned down. So you could have traded that. This was I probably should have marked that in green, but I wasn't about to take it on a move up like that. So I wasn't going to mark it. And I think it was a very aggressive trade, but we're definitely overdone, and you had to consider that. So. And there was probably another chance to short right here. That's a double top with a very bearish bar, but we hadn't had the trend line break. And you see what happened. Even though it went lower, it got hung up in here and probably ran everybody's stops before it went lower. But that's usually where you'll get your first reversal a lot of times when you see this kind of move, is it'll pull back and test the last lows around the EMA. And that's exactly what it did. It trapped everybody, and they ran it up to the high side before it sold off again. So hope you had a good trading day. That's pretty much it. That's going to wrap it up. It was an interesting day, but there was you really had a chance to make some good money on the way down, and you might have been done before we went up. But when you start getting a trend like this, you got to find some place to try to enter, and really the only good place you had was right here, unless you got in down here. And depending on how you entered this one, if you waited and entered above this green bar, you may, I'm not sure if your runners would have been good. Let's just see there. No, you wouldn't. Your runners actually wouldn't have survived. You said they came right back and got them. But what I did was when we broke lower and then turned up, I went long above this little double bar matching high, and this thing closed on its high. I mean, that was like a little trap right there. And so I survived by one tick, and if you waited to above that bar, then looks like your runners didn't survive. So you may not have got any runners off that one. So it's too risky to enter here. And so this would have been your first real opportunity to get in this. And you can see this right here. Let me just back out and show you that. This is a two-legged pullback in a very strong market. And sometimes they don't come back to the EMA, but you see you got your high, you got a pull back, you got a little move up, then you got your next move back, and then it reversed. But not only that, you got this little double bottom across here. It's a breakout pullback long because we broke out of this, pulled back. It's a trap. It's a one tick failed trap below this double bottom that formed right here on this pullback. And just a lot of reasons to like going long right there, especially after this strong move up. This is a strong reversal, even though it doesn't look like it. It took it a few minutes to, it really didn't gain its legs till it got outside of this channel. But once it got outside there, it had some legs, and it moved pretty quickly. It went from, say, 1400 all the way to about 1415 just about. So, it's a 15-point move there in a very short period of time. And as you can see, even though they were correcting it a little bit, it wasn't eager to sell off until we made that double top after the trend line break. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. I hope you had a good trading day, and we'll